Alrighty, so we're back to discuss some Walking Dead possibilities.
I know there's so much interesting rumors in the ether in the Walking Dead stratosphere just floating around.
You just instantly sounded more intelligent by the way you said that. I'm impressed.
You're not familiar with the stratosphere?
Yes, but it's just your presentation.
Well, thank you so
perfect.
much.
All right, so Matt is not with us this morning. He'll be with us on our podcast. I think we're going to do another one like maybe Thursday-ish.
Yeah.
Well, actually, maybe we'll do one tomorrow, but that's going to be on a comic. So,
whole other level.
Yeah, a whole other thing. So, but yeah, Matt will be with us today. We're discussing a rumor that I've seen.
That you just filled me in on,
yeah.
and I can't believe, I don't want to believe it.
And I don't think it's true. Let's preface that. I don't think that this is the way it's going to play out, but it's just something I read online and just figured we'd discuss it, since it's kind of what we do is just discuss the show.
We do a lot of talking.
And knowing my luck, this has been disproven by the time, because I saw this on like Friday, and now it's Tuesday. Knowing my luck, someone's already disproved it, but I haven't. I tried to look up to see if anyone had. So, but we're going to talk about the possibility of AMC skipping out completely on the Whisperers.
Oh, it just makes me sad hearing you say that.
Do you think that would be not a good move for AMC if they did that?
Oh, I mean, for one thing, Negan and the governor, they're very similar antagonists. So to skip a villain of this magnitude, it's different, it's fierce, it's terrifying. I mean, to me, that just signals that they must be trying to end the show prematurely.
Kind of like people were getting a little annoyed with The Flash, even though it's a great show, saying that they were tired of the villains always being speedsters. Yeah. They wanted something different. Give us a villain that's not the same thing over and over again. So you're saying basically the Whisperers could be the nice type of change that The Walking Dead would need.
Yeah, instead of just another, tyrant trying to lord over everything,
right?
Or wipe them out or whatever. Yeah, I mean, the Whisper is just their philosophy, their mentality is just polar opposite. Rick is trying to rebuild civilization, whereas they're trying to revert back to a
much more primitive time.
Yes. A much more nomadic, hunter-gatherer kind of
right.
thing.
Now, obviously, before we dive into this, there are going to be comic spoilers. So if you haven't caught up on the comics, then you definitely, as much as it pains me to say, you may not want to listen, because I don't want to be the one to spoil it for you. But with that said, if you don't mind spoilers or you're caught up, we would love to have you stick around. But so you've been warned. But yeah, so what I was reading, and again, knowing my luck, this has been disproven already, and I just didn't find the article. But what I was reading on, I don't know if it was Forbes. I think it was Forbes.
Was it Forbes?
It was either Forbes or comicbook.com.
I've seen a Forbes magazine in your bathroom before, so I think it must have been Forbes.
I like to look at the lavish, rich lifestyles I'll never live. But no, they have a lot more than that. But so basically, the theory is going that now that, and again, show spoilers. Sorry. Now that Carl is on his way out, a lot of drama going on there too, may I add. I'm just seeing more and more surface every day. I've heard things like they are going to fire him. I think one of our commenters, Elisa Jett, said that she'd heard that they were going to fire him because of the child to adult wages they were now going to have to start paying him. I've heard it was because he's growing up too fast. I don't know. It's a lot of different things people are saying, but
I didn't think of the financial burden he'd be bringing on the show. Not being a minor
I think from
anymore.
A child to an adult, he could demand a much higher wage.
I bet that. Well, maybe he was union already. I don't know how that stuff works.
I don't either. But
We're not
so
union.
He's out.
He's out.
He's on his way out. As much as I hate it, I don't think we're going to have a Glenn Dumpster situation. Carl's gone. With Carl being gone, it really does bring, and we rework it. We're not saying that with Carl being gone, any of this is impossible. Before you jump to the comments section or like, no, well, we know they can rework things, but you got to think about how important Carl was to the whole Whisperer war. I mean, as far as the Whisperer interactions, I mean, him taking Alpha's daughter away, I mean, that was a pretty big deal.
Yeah. I mean, that was Carl was a major player in the whole thing. I mean, he pretty much initiated the.
And let's face it, man. In the comics, okay, and this is all my opinion. You could disagree. The listeners could disagree. Though I really did like the Whisperers being a part of the Walking Dead universe. It was something different. It was cool, and out of that came some great moments, like the Negan and Beta fight, or the Jesus and Beta fight we saw recently. The beheadings, which they kind of They kind of foreshadowed when the Jeffrey Dahmer looking guy told King Ezekiel in the show that he was going to put his head on a spike.
Yeah.
So lots of memorable moments, but I feel like that whole war was just kind of underwhelming there towards the end. Like, I really felt it was going to build up to some crazy stuff, and it just kind of, I mean, it as a result, some stuff happened, but I felt like it was a little underwhelming at certain parts.
Right.
So
right.
maybe there, which again, I'm not saying I wish they wouldn't have done it. I mean, I'm happy with the way it turned out. And Robert Kirkman's a great writer, so he has master plans when he does stuff. So, but I mean, it was a little underwhelming just the way it kind of wrapped up. And, so maybe the AMC, from what I read, it was rumored that AMC was just going to skip the whole Whisperer. And two, the way people reacted to like King Ezekiel, the way he was talking the kingdom speech, and the way that the trash people talk. The trash people would be the most likely candidates as far as just the way they act. That remind me of the Whisperers.
Yeah.
They're not going to become the Whisperers, no doubt, but the Whisperers are similar, in the way they talk and the way that. But I was seeing that they may skip that whole thing altogether.
That would be such a shame. That was such a brutal war. I mean, just weaponizing the zombies like no one ever has before. I mean, just.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, though. I think that them not doing that would be a dumb move, because it would be a nice change of pace with the villains, these overlords that just want to rule the world and kill everybody. And not that I didn't love him. I mean, Negan's amazing, and the governor was an awesome villain. But I mean, it is kind of the same, or it'd be really cool to just see a completely different type of enemy.
Yeah, not to mention that the Whisperers they're pretty friendly with the rape. Do you remember? Yeah, that was like Negan's.
That's a very uncomfortable type deal, because they just believe if you're strong enough to take it, you take it.
Yeah, that's why Alpha sent her daughter Lydia away. She was like, well, you're right. She has been getting raped quite a bit. So Carl rescued her from that situation, and Alpha kind of realized, that maybe this isn't all it's cracked up to be, right before Negan,
chopped her head off.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. There's so many. I was going back through, flipping through one of the because I've got the issues, but I've got I like to collect the volumes of the hardcovers. Sure. And I was flipping through that because I got one for Christmas, and like the Negan and Beta fight's so awesome, because that's where, again, I hate to keep saying spoilers, but that's where Negan loses Lucille. He cracks it over Beta's back, and she just shatters, and then Negan's just distraught, and then he's like, get back here as Beta's, leaving the scene. He's like, I'm not done with you. And I'm like, it's a really, the Whisperer situation, the reason why I think it would be tragic for them to skip that is because it's so many missed opportunities for Negan.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
really where Negan. So when I say it's underwhelming, don't think that I'm saying I wish it wasn't there, because out of the Whisperer war and the whole Whisperer saga came a lot of really great moments, especially Negan's character development. But I'm just saying that what I was reading was saying that they, thought that the.
I think with incursions in the past, we had like that big, that big moment at the end, like at the end of the prison saga, the governor gets shot from behind and eaten.
Yes.
At the end of All Out War, Negan gets stabbed in the throat by Rick.
Yes.
And I get what you're saying. There wasn't that cherry on top.
That you just put it into words. I was sitting here regretting that I said it was underwhelming, because it was a great saga, but you just put into words exactly what I was thinking. I love the Whisperer saga, but you're right. Like, there wasn't just that final gut punch that just really hammered home the end of the war per se. But thank you, God. It's like you were reading my mind.
Every now and then I
couldn't put it into words, but you got it.
There you go.
But I think it would be a terrible mistake for them to do that, and they might not. I mean, somebody might point out, no, they've already, and that's cool. But again, Negan's character development all kind of unravels during this whole Whisperer Awards, where he makes in another podcast we're going to talk about with Matt in the next day or two.
Oh, yeah?
So kind of preview here. It kind of alludes to, I was going to say that, they've rumored there's a possibility that they're going to kill Rick off, which everybody's been saying since season 1, obviously. Like, they're going to kill Rick. But no one's safe. But that they might end up killing Rick off and have Negan be the lead.
Huh. That would be interesting.
And as much as I hate the thought of him leaving the show, because I mean it's Rick, he's awesome. But as much as I hate the thought of him leaving the show, I definitely think that the the transition of Negan from bad to kind of good. You still kind of don't know what he's thinking, but he's kind of good now. Would be a really interesting. I believe that could keep. I believe a lot of people would leave the show if Rick died, but I believe Negan could help to maybe keep some viewers, because Jeffrey Dean Morgan just does so good with that character and so many opportunities they have.
I think it would be a lot like when Charlie Sheen was fired from 2.5 Men and Ashton Kutcher, which, I mean, it's not exactly the same because Ashton Kutcher wasn't on 2.5 Men before he took over.
Right.
I'm not trying to say that Andrew Lincoln is smoking crack like Charlie Sheen was. That's not where I'm going with this.
Okay, good. I was getting worried there.
Yeah. But no, I don't know if it would work. So, I don't think it would work.
So yeah, we're going to be discussing a Walking Deadless.
Rickless.
Excuse me,
Dead.
It's the day after Christmas, man. My mind is still on Christmas. A Rickless Walking Dead. We'll discuss that with Matt here in a few days. But I was going to say, like the Whisper, if they are going to do that, the Whisperer saga is the perfect time to start that transition with Negan, into getting to where he could take the lead of the show, and some people don't despise him.
Yeah, and like you said, there's so many lost moments. I mean, the one-on-one stuff with Rick and Negan when Alexandria's flooded.
Some of my favorite Walking Dead stuff.
And they're just, in that little house, just talking things out. It was great.
The cool thing about that, and again, that was a direct result of the Whisperer War, but the great thing about that was you kind of got some closure on Negan's mind, and I don't mean closures and it ended, but I mean like with the governor, he was all psycho. There you go. Clarification's a better word. The governor was all psycho and crazy, and then he just got, shot and he died, and you never really got inside of his head unless you read that book. The Rise of the Governor, which was actually like a novel.
I never read it.
It was a really good book. The ending was kind of like, was that necessary? But the book itself was pretty good. But I mean, you don't really get much, especially so with Negan, you got to have this sit down talk to explain why he thought the way he did, why he, carried out the murders and the things that he did. And you learn that, this guy truly thought that his way was going to save the world. He thought, hey, if you want to make an omelet, you got to crack a few eggs.
Yeah, I mean, he straight up said, make people slaves. If nothing else, it gives them something to live for.
Right.
And I mean, that that's twisted, but there is a certain logic there, and he did keep a lot of people alive. You got to give him that.
Yeah, it's like, you're right. I mean, it's a very flawed way of thinking, but in his own way, he did keep people alive by giving them. So, they always say that, like, in a situation, if you're in charge, one of the best things you can do, like if shit's hitting the fan, is give people jobs.
Yeah.
Because it keeps them occupied on something instead of just panicking and running around. Like, you go grab this, you get this person there. It gives them a purpose and kind of takes their attention away from the panic that they want to succumb to.
Yeah, well, in Jamestown, John Smith said, you don't work, you don't eat. I don't think he ever, melted anyone's face with an iron or cracked anyone's skull with a baseball bat.
Right? But
even still, even still.
So you got to get inside of Negan's head, and again, that came out of the Whisperer War. And now that Carl's dead, and you know what? I hate the thought of Carl dying. I do, because I truly was starting to really like Carl. First few seasons, wasn't fond of him. I get that he's a kid. I get all of that, but doesn't mean I have to like him. And then I started really liking him probably after season 4, episode 9, I think, is after that whole I don't need you crap with Rick. And, I started liking Carl after that, after they kind of got that out the way, but so I hate that, but it's kind of a good thing. I saw one of our commenters, Savage Rick, had said, and he is kind of right about this, that killing Carl kind of takes it back to that anyone can die at any moment kind of thing. Like, no one feels safe, and it's unpredictable. Like, where are they going now? What's going to happen? So, in a way, as much as I hate that Carl died, I do like that aspect that, that's there. I'm not saying I agree with the decision to kill Carl, but there is a certain excitement that you've got now in the sense of, like, what's going to happen.
I feel like we've definitely focused more on the negative aspects of losing Carl as opposed to, certain positive possibilities that could come out of it, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely our Carl glass is half empty when maybe it should be half full.
Yeah. You got such a way with words this morning, JP.
Every now and then.
But yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, we have been focusing on all the negative ramifications of Carl being off the show. But I mean, there could be some positive things that come from there. Like, for comic readers, yes, you like to see things that you remember in the comics, but it's fun sometimes when something completely, like the CDC, they never went to that in the comics.
Yeah.
So on the show, it's like, oh, hell, what is this? Where are they going now? And They always have a way of coming back around to the comic books. They follow it, like a loose outline, but
throwing that blueprint out the window with this one.
I know. So I mean, it really does. It's definitely one of those things where it's like it's going to be really good for the show or really, really bad. We'll see.
Yeah, time will tell.
But so, yeah, I don't know that they're going to skip the Whisperer War saga. I really hope they don't. And as I said, man, it's been several days since I read that, so they might have already disproven that one.
Yeah.
But I just figured it was worth a discussion, even still, just, because I can't see not having the Whisperers in The Walking Dead.
I know. I think it'd be a big mistake.
I think it's going to be a lot harder to pull off in the show as opposed to the comic. I mean, it's to make it convincing and, I think they're going to have to work a little harder on that as opposed to just putting a leather jacket on a guy and saying, all right, here's your inspiration, go.
Yeah.
But I think that if they do a good, they could be really good in so many moments that I just don't want to see the show miss out on. But, so I don't know. We will leave your comment in the bottom. Let us know if you want to reassure us that the Whisperers will be on The Walking Dead with some information you've got. We don't. Please throw that in the bottom. Reassure me because I'm kind of sad to not see the Whisperers in the show if that's the case.
Such a gnarly villain.
I hope everyone had happy holidays. I hope that the upcoming New Year is going to be a fun but safe one for you. Party. I know we're partying hard, but be safe. Crash on your buddy's couch. In the bar bathroom, whatever. I mean, it's better than driving. So.
Keep it safe. Keep it sexy.
There you go. Man, it's like I can't even look at you right now. You're just on fire today.
Oh gosh, I am.
What did you? What did you? Christmas just must have been.
I haven't had breakfast. I think much more lucidly on an empty stomach.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Well, I'm going to stop feeding you before these podcasts.
Well, let's do that.
But if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for listening. Please hit that subscribe and like button. We're still getting accustomed to YouTube, so I probably should have mentioned that before we started. But nonetheless.
Better late than never.
Yeah, so make sure to hit that subscribe button for more Walking Dead content. We're not just saying it. I promise you, so many more things are coming in 2018. We got so many ideas for this channel, and always going to keep it centralized on The Walking Dead for our fellow Walking Dead fanatics. But, there's a lot of fun stuff that we want to do and want you to come along for the ride.
Yeah,
so
branching out a little bit.
Yeah, so hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I hope that we will see you here in the next day or two where we discuss a Rickless Walking Dead with Matt back in studio.
Will.
So, I'm Justin.
And JP.